Hi. Thank you guys for coming again. There's a millions of microbes or germs on one hand. That's one hand. Even though hand sanitizer seems like an okay solution, it's actually washing your hands is said to be the better one. And there's a picture on the second slide. This is before she washed her hands. Those are all the germs that are on her hand before washing. The second one is a chart. 92% of adults will say they wash their hands on a regular basis, but they said it's actually about 75% who are being truthful and actually go through with it. And they even went further into breaking it down into men and women. 88% of the women will wash their hands on a regular basis, while only 66% of men will wash their hands. So, like I said earlier, you can carry millions of microbes on your hands. Some are harmless, but others can be quite harmful. Hand hygiene was a term coined to describe improved cleanliness and good health as it relates to washing your hands. And we can pick up germs from other people, doorknobs, stair railings, bathrooms, and much more. And CDC works to promote global awareness of hand washing through Global Hand Washing Day. They're big on washing your hands over using hand sanitizer. Now, before I tell you about washing your hands and hand sanitizer, I'm going to give you a little brief description of microorganisms. It's a living thing that is ordinarily too small to be seen without aid of microscopes. Different names that they can be called are microbes, germs, bugs, and pathogens. The different type of microbes, which I've ranked by the CDC by infection rank. That's bacteria and virus are fighting for first place. Neither one takes second place because they're equally amount on your hands and they're always harmful. They have a high rate of infection. Then there's hemlets, which are parasitic worms, fungus, protozoas, and algae. Now, the two forms of micro which are found in abundances on the hands would be, of course, bacteria and fungi. I listed a few examples of common bacteria and symptoms. Staphylococcus, which can cause staph infections, zits, and even boils. That's usually how you find zits on your face, is not just dirting of pores. If you start scratching your face, you can embed that virus and it will bed up in the pores. Then you have Streptococcus pneumonia, and can cause pneumonia among other symptoms. It is transferred by both contact and airborne, but it's still listed on one of the commons on your hands because if someone coughs and then shakes your hand or uses your keyboard, you now have it on your hands. And then the most commonly spread is the bacteria which is called Shigella, which is diarrhea. And it's spread with direct contact, such as restrooms, keyboards, hands, and other forms as well. And then I listed a few viruses for you too. There's hepatitis A, which is the least known of the hepatitis virus. It causes jaundice, which is yellowing of the skin, diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. And the common cold, a viral infection that is caused by a large range of viruses. It's not just one virus, it's a prelude to other viruses. It's the first symptoms that you get of that virus because your body is fighting it. So it's actually 200 of viruses are known to cause this cold. And it was basically coughing, sneezing, congestion, and headaches. And then finally you have emphysema or flu. It is a virus that is constantly changing but is still similar traits to its first strand. There's a couple strands like strand A, B, or C. And even as it mutates each year, it still holds to that strand. So even though you have it on your hand or you catch it, your body will still have some form of resistance because it still holds similarities to the beginning strand. Then we have hemlets, which are most commonly spread as the ringworm, which you can pick up on your hands when you're handling dirt, compost, or even gravel. The worm can fester in the skin because when you scratch your skin anywhere on your body, you're going to actually break that first level of the skin, and it allows it to embed and get deep in the skin and it will start growing. And you can usually tell a ring burn because it actually forms a dotted ring with a center, so you know it's a ringworm. Kids get it a lot. It's something children get, and a lot of people who work with dirt, like construction workers. And then you have fungus. Now, CDC says it's both high and low on the list, but it really depends on the class of fungi and how you come into contact with it. There's no list of really one fungi over another. It just really depends on when you hit that, what form of development that fungus is in, if you'll actually get sick from it. Then there's protozoas and algae. Now, protozoas are like amoeba, which can be ruled out most of the time, but is not heard of because it is transferred from host to host, which means if the host has it and it's really in a dormant form and it hasn't developed into its adult stage, he can actually transfer it to you through scratching you or biting, but most of the time it will be scratching. And then algae, which is rarely infection. You see it in ponds. It even forms in fish tanks. But there is the form Protehecta that has been associated with skin infections on sailors. And there are two other forms of algae, like the red tide, that have been reported to cause infection. And because of this, CDC and American Health Department has worked on reforming ship hygiene. On the slide after that, I picked two slides. That one, the blue one, is passed out in high schools and is actually posted on high schools. The other one is what you can see in grade school. And basically, they hold the same symptoms, but the other one is basically been given a smaller definition so that little kids can understand. They know what diarrhea is versus they don't really know what jaundice is. Now, hand sanitizer can eliminate all. It's a misconception that many have, even though it tells you it only does 99%. Some believe it can eliminate all cells or microbes. And it's not effective if your hands are noticeably dirty. If there's dirt on them, it's not going to get rid of the microbe. It's going to get rid of the dirt. And it's used because of its effectiveness. And you should only use hand sanitizer if it has 60% or higher alcohol content, because it will help in reducing. I listed the procedures, the correct procedures which the CDC said should be used. You apply the sanitizer on your hand when they are not visibly dirty, and then you scrub your hands until they are completely dry. This is why people like hand sanitizer over washing their hands, because it's quicker instead of the long procedure of singing happy birthday. While it is quicker, it has a bad problem of producing a reduction in contact with microbes, meaning you don't form a sort of resistance or immunity to these microbes. While it is effective in killing away most of the microbe, it creates one problem, is supergerm. Supergerms are highly effective because they became resistant to the sanitizer and the chemicals in the sanitizer, meaning these supergerms will then pass on the genetic material to its daughter cells. They'll be becoming forming. They'll perform that resistance also, making it more difficult for the human body to resist it and to get rid of. Hand washing is preferred because when you wash your hands, you're going to leave fewer amount of, it does not get rid of all the germs, but it does leave a fewer amount on your hands, and because of that, it allows you to come into contact with them, and your body's able to fight off a fewer amount and give you that resistance that you need. Versus hand sanitizer that wipes 99% off and leaves you the stronger, more super germ. Now, hand washing is helped to keep your hands clean, but also to stop the spreading of germs. When you don't wash your hands properly, or you don't wash them at all, you're helping spread the microbes. And I listed on the next slide the correct procedure of washing your hands, that the CDC says this is how you should do it. You can wet your hands with clean running water. It doesn't matter if it's warm or cold, and apply soap. Scrub your hands. You should scrub them well between the fingers and underneath the nails if you can, and you should count for 20 seconds. Or sing happy birthday twice, whichever you like to do. And then rinse your hands and then dry it with a towel or the air dry. with like the machines that you see. And they also, CDC goes in to tell you when you should actually wash your hands, like before and after or during meal preparation, before eating food, when treating wounds, after using the bathroom, after changing a child's diaper, after coughing, sneezing, or blowing your nose, touching an animal or its waste, after feeding your pet, and touching garbage. Now, hand washing with soap is the best way to reduce germs, but if the soap and water is not available, then you should use hand sanitizer. This doesn't mean that you should start to use hand sanitizer a whole lot, because you're making super germs. You're not getting rid of them all, and then you're not promoting your body to make resistance when they do come into contact with this. And hand washing does not prevent illness. Not at all. It just keeps you from getting a harsh infection that would have been worse without taking these procedures. CDC in America have been promoting hand washing over sanitizing for years. They say that hand washing promotes a lower rate of super germs. They've definitely made it important to clean your hands if you're in a medical field before, after, and even during medical procedures or medical emergencies. And they've also worked on bringing hand washing onto chips, whether it be for relaxation or work, because washing your hand keeps from outbreaks. Because you're coming into a ship, you're in close contact. People sometimes from different countries have different forms of viruses that you're not used to. So instead of mingling with it, if you wash your hands and take the precautions, you won't help spread those. You don't want to be stuck on a ship that can't come into port because there's an outbreak of something. The CDC helps to improve hand hygiene every day. They've gone so far as to actually start the Global Hand Washing Day in schools, where that's a big day where they just talk about hand washing over sanitizing. Once again, microbes can be harmless or harmful. Just washing your hands is a better solution than sanitizer, because we're not creating super germs, which has become a real problem. CDC and other health organizations are saying we're too busy creating super germs because we want to completely wipe them out. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and thanks for coming.